Hello, all. Welcome to another episode of AWS Show and Tell. I'm your host, Anil Nadiminti, joining from New Jersey today. And we have an amazing team joining us to present and demo how you can build your coding agents and bring them. Perhaps I should say differently. Right? It's how you can actually bring your AI-assisted SDLC with Claude Code, Codex, Kiro, and run them in the cloud. Right. So, but before we go into the details, let's go through the introductions. Mark.
Hey, Mark Roy here, coming from New Hampshire today. Good to be here. I've been a builder for a few decades now. I've seen some massive technology changes, but the world of agents is the greatest, by far the most exciting and game-changing here. EK, Evandro?
Yeah,
Hey.
I can go first. Hi everyone, I'm Ishan Kaushik or EK. I'm going to be demoing today the SDLC pipeline. Really excited to be here. I'm joining from LA. I'm here for the LA Summit, so really exciting stuff. Evandro.
Hey folks, good morning, afternoon, evening, depending on time you're watching live or later. Thank you for joining. I'm Evandro here. Excited for this coding agents night demo. Going to show you how to host your code agents inside AgentCore runtime.
Cool.
Yep. Yeah, we already see folks are joining from everywhere, right? AWS Show and Tell, this particular time slot, is when we stream episodes on various content related to AI agents. It's watched from everywhere in the world. So let us know in the chat where you're joining from, and keep the conversation going, right? So, and with that said, this particular, Mark, Ivandro, and Ishan, we joined in a prior session, and we shared with you how to build and bring your POCs into production using AgentCore, right? But today's session is a little bit different. We've all, been in the world of using our coding assistants, and we love using them. But again, when we walk away from our laptops, or when we close our lids, or when we are in the flight at 30,000 feet, we want our coding agents to be running and building software, right? So we're going to take a look at that. We're going to have an amazing set of demos that our team is going to show you today. With that said, Mark, take it away.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, Anil. It's been a whirlwind year. It's hard to believe, but it's almost a full year since we launched AgentCore, and it's been amazing. I get to lead a team of SAs and data scientists. We focus on agents, and we work really closely with the AgentCore team, and we've been listening pretty hard to all the feedback, cranking out releases week after week. Check out our release notes page to see what's been going on there. But yeah, it's been quite a whirlwind. But I want to point out we're seeing a pretty huge shift in workload maturity. I'm sure EK and Evandro could weigh in here as well. But as we look back to 2025, it was all about prototypes, POCs, pilots, maybe a few production workloads here and there. It's really taken off. 2026, we're seeing lots of production workloads, reinventing customer experience with chat agents. We've got event-driven process automation. A lot of customers putting out agent platforms as well to kind of speed up the development process. But today we get to dive in on coding agents, which pretty much showing up in every customer conversation these days. And it's not that coding agents are really new, but they're wanting to use them in a new way. Big focus on security and scale and moving beyond doing it on laptops. And so let's share my screen here. I'll give a quick introduction to lay some groundwork here, and then I'll hand it over to Evandro and EK to show you how it all works and give you some real live demos here. It's going to be pretty amazing show. So yeah, this is EK about 6 months ago, riding through New York City, trying to get his job done there, building new demos. But crazy thing is he keeps that laptop, keeps it wide open. And customers are trying to avoid doing this. It's not a very good safety look here. So what are the real problems that customers are seeing? Yes, coding agents are amazing. It's helping us move a lot faster to build software and build agents even. but limited parallelism. You've got to keep your laptop open, which can be a problem overnight. Doing real long-running workloads, refactoring your code, building some great new feature. Also, no isolation, and that goes kind of hand in hand with the parallelism aspect. You want to be able to do a lot of things at once. You want to keep agents away from things that they're not supposed to be getting access to. Likewise, limiting the blast radius. Bad things happen, so you want to make sure that when they do, the damage is not very great. And then lastly, hey, there's a lot of credentials lying around on your laptop. And the more access you give to those agents to different tools, different environments, the more damage can be done as well. So while we love coding agents, there's a big push to try to get all of these things under control. Some of the downside of the way the world works today, you end up with a lot of wasted time. You end up with drift across different teams, and then you've got this risk of agents doing bad things. So what are developers looking for? They want to continue to be able to work as if it's like their laptop, but they want to do more. They don't want to be constrained by how much can be done on the laptop. Run a bunch of agents at once. You'll see a demo from a vendor later that really shows you, the power of doing that. Making sure you can live beyond reboots and crashes on your laptop. And then, I'm sure you have a favorite coding agent out there. Maybe you can put it in the chat. But you don't want to be constrained as well. You don't want AWS telling you which one you want to use. You want the flexibility. This goes back to the same tenet that we've had for AgentCore for over a year now. It's basically any model, any agent framework. We're extending that here to say any coding agent. Bring your favorite. With that said, administrators have a different set of goals. They want to limit the blast radius. They want to make sure you're using VPCs, using your identity provider. You want to be able to see what's happened end to end, full access to the traces, all the actions that were taken, and so forth. And you want to make sure that you don't be exposing credentials. So today we're talking about AgentCore and how you can get beyond all of these limitations. So any coding assistant, again, any model you want to use. You'll see Claude Code today. You'll see Kiro, Codex. You can bring pretty much anything you'd like. Built-in session management, built-in session isolation, no infrastructure management on your part required. And no more riding down New York streets on your bike with your laptop open. Close that lid, let AgentCore keep the work going. And then most recently, we added a terminal UI to the environment as well. So now, not only can you kick off jobs to do your work, you can actually connect directly to them and interact as if it's really running right there on your laptop.
Sorry, saying, Mark, that Ishan is going to be happy going back again without keeping his lid open and scrambling all the way.
No more trips to the ER. You'll hear some good quotes from him about how he doesn't write code anymore, which is something we can all learn from. Use cases. So yeah, we're talking about coding, of course, but a lot of different flavors of it. Long running tasks where you want to do some massive migration overnight or some big refactoring, maybe huge test suites. You still might want to connect and see what's going on. Use your terminal UI, maybe send some commands that don't have to go through an LLM. You're basically just looking at files, poking around, managing the environment a little bit, whatever you need. And then parallel agents. You'll see an exciting demo in a few minutes here on showing that off. But, picture a really complicated job. You could just have a bunch of these coding agents running at once, doing parts of that job, collaborating with each other, all kinds of options and opportunities there. And then lastly, just overall AI-driven development. This one is probably the most exciting here. I really love seeing what customers are trying to do here. You've got hundreds of developers, maybe thousands of developers, and you want to unleash all the productivity of coding agents, but you want to keep it under control. You want to put the security controls, you want to put the governance in place. We're trying to help you get the best of both worlds there. We'll let EK and Evandro show you some more details here, but this is an example of doing async long-running coding agents, maybe your project manager persona, maybe your developer persona, working on a particular project, kicking off a coding agent, whatever your favorite is, using whatever model you'd like, hosting that in AgentCore runtime on the cloud, and then having that secure access to whatever MCPs you need, whatever tools you need to get your job done. And we'll get into a little bit more various flavors of getting attached storage you need for your session, or maybe attached storage across sessions, like for skills and so forth. And then on the parallel agent front, maybe working on multiple different projects at once, or different parts of the same task that you're trying to get done, all in parallel, with the full scalability and security of the cloud, and all using unified endpoints like AgentCore Gateway. And then one of our favorites here is just a fully lights out operation here, where new features get requested or new issues come in on your repo, and then the coding just begins. It happens. Maybe a human gets in the loop once in a while to check things out, but for the most part, you're good to go. So let me just spend 2 or 3 more minutes here on the core capabilities that AgentCore brings to the table. I mentioned any coding assistant, any model. So, pick your favorite: Claude Code, Codex, Kiro, whatever you need. You can bring your own container. Very easy to set up. You'll see how that's done today. And then on the model front, we love it when you pick Bedrock, which has hundreds of different models, all the top models in the world. But we're also happy to let you just plug into your own LLM gateway, or any open source models, or even directly go to some other provider with your coding. I mentioned persistent storage. We've been adding this at a pretty amazing pace as of late. 2 big flavors to think about. One is on a per session basis. Everything you need to make sure that when things might crash, when things might go wrong, you've got consistent access to all the data and assets that you need for that session. On the right, we've got bring your own storage, where the classic use case here is maybe you have a set of skills you want to give to every one of your developers. Put those in S3 or EFS, mount that in to every coding agent use case, and you're good to go. Your coding agent has direct access to that. But whatever it is you need to share, dependency caches, other artifacts, all good to go. So these on the left is fully managed. These on the right here, you get to manage that and just provide the resource to those agents. You'll see examples of using the terminal UI that was just launched. Very easy to get at from the AgentCore CLI. So I won't bore you with the details here. You'll see it live. There's a lot of times where you just want to send individual commands into your agent, not letting the agent have to worry about it. You just want to list files, maybe, copy a file, do some whatever examination you want of what's going on in that agent. You can just send commands directly to there. I mentioned administrators earlier. We don't want to focus only on developers getting their job done. A big part of the storyline here is that these customers that are wanting all this productivity benefit, they also are not willing to do this at all without the right controls in place. So we give you AgentCore Gateway, where you can lock down exactly what you're allowed to access, which tools, which VPCs. You can enforce all of this. You can also have image policies. Yes, you can download your container, but which ones? You can manage what packages are allowed to be there, and where those packages come from. You can manage the attached storage, We have got AgentCore Identity as well, where you plug in your own identity provider, your pings, your entras, your Okta, and so forth. You get to control all of the way that access works. And then very importantly, observability. You want to give developers all this ability, but you want to be able to track what's going on and troubleshoot and audit all of that. No matter if you're using coding agents or if you're building chat agents or, automating some process unrelated to coding, AgentCore gives you this built-in session isolation. So you're making sure that nothing bleeds from one session into another. We use Firecracker micro VMs under the hood. You can take advantage of AgentCore memory as well for short-term and long-term memory. Automatically figure out, preferences, what your agent's been up to take advantage of that in the subsequent sessions. All of that's available as well. And then the last piece is we've got a massive focus on end-to-end security and privacy, right? So private link, keeping things off of the public internet, making sure that you have full control over what resources these coding agents have access to. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Evandro to show us some demos.
Thank you, Mark. Let's get started. There we go. I thought
so. While Evandro is pulling this up, Mark, you mentioned we can bring any model, any agent, right, to be able to do this. Right? Sometimes developers say, "Hey, I want this particular model to do my coding, and this model to my planning, and another model to do my reviews." So, can we do all of that with what we're showing today?
Good question. I guess a lot of that depends on the flexibility of the coding agent that you're choosing, but maybe EK or Evandro.
So in the demo that I will showcase in just a few minutes, I'm essentially using Opus model for my orchestrator. I have a test agent which runs my test use cases and critiques it, and that's going to be using Haiku because it's faster and that's what I want for it. I'm using Sonnet to actually implement stuff. So yes, you can definitely use different models inside the same runtime for your sub agents, for your subtask, for your different skills that you might use. Yeah, definitely.
And we all love open source, right? So how about open source models? Can we use that? I saw the open code in there as well.
Yeah, of course. Like with the if you use an open source sort of coding assistant and you have the ability to plug in different models, maybe self-hosted or across different providers inside runtime, all you need is a path to reach that particular inference endpoint, and yeah, you're good to go.
Yep. Cool. And if you remember our previous live stream, we talked about Harness. And Harness also give you the flexibility to change the model during execution time. So you can just start a session and invoke using, let's say, cloud model like Haiku, and then you can invoke again the same agent and changing the model for Sonnet. So yeah, totally possible. Not our focus today, but yeah, it's possible. Let's get it started by the new features. Let me showcase you a little bit. I promise I'll be quick on the features, just showing you like the terminal feature, the SC3 feature, and then I will show the agents in parallel competing. I'm not saying competing, but no hard feelings here. no preferences. I will let you guys take your own opinion, but yeah, I'm gonna show a few agents doing the same thing together in different runtimes. So you guys, I think you folks know AgentCore CLI is our, it's a very quick start for all AgentCore stuff, so you can get very easy over, new features and so on. It's pretty easy to install, just npm install. We have talked about the preview version before for Harness, for example. Let me show in practice I have here set it. So I already have the AgentCore CLI set it here. I'm gonna just show my version. I already have my demo project, but it's very easy. Like, let's say I can just create a new one like AgentCore create, and then start a new my new code agent. I will add an agent and then my code agent. I will create a new agent. It will be Python, direct code deploy, ATP, strands agents, Bedrock, no memory. That's it. There you go. It's going to create my local setup, and then I can just hit AgentCore deploy to push my agent to my AWS account to have it, to host it and to run all my stuff inside it. I already have one provision. I'll just wait for this one to finish very quickly, and then I'll show the terminal feature when I can just SSH inside it. So I just created this new one, but I have this demo terminal. This one is provision. I can show you later or now in my AWS console here. I have here my demo terminal agent. So let me get back to my bash screen and AgentCore. Let's say exec. This is the command in the CLI to run bash commands inside my micro VM, but this is kind of, you send a command, it executes and give you a response. Let's say ls. That's it.
So this is in addition. Wow, that was fast.
Yeah, this execute the command and give me a reply, but I'm not inside the micro VM. If I wanna get inside, we have this new feature, which is very complex, like you will see now. I just need to, if you are familiar with Docker, you probably know this option. So, and there you go. I'm inside my micro VM. I have, all my stuff here. Oh, I don't have this
And at
thing.
this point, the micro VM is running in the cloud.
Yes, it's inside my micro VM on AWS. Let me quit this. This is my, terminal UI new feature. Let me show another new feature we have, which is attach our S3 files on it. For this one, I already have a sample running here. I have this fancy UI screen that I've built to, use the terminal UI feature and get inside my micro VM. So here I'm already executing Claude Code. I'm gonna quit the Claude Code. I'm gonna list for you like my MT, MNT, S3 files. I have MCP, others, and the skill. If I go here, my S3, MC3, MCP, others, and skills, let me just play very quickly so you trust me that it's inside my S3 file. So I have this file here. Let's see what I have inside it. Hello all. So let's get this fun. How we're doing now. AgentCore with coding agents are awesome. Let's save this. Let's put here in my bucket.
Drum roll, please.
And upload it. And let's see again and work it. So
Nice.
we have this connected with our S3 files. So I can, in this case, I can show you like our, let me show the skills here. For example, I have this skill with the instructions for my coding agents to use our MCP server to interact with a GitHub project that I have here. Let's get back to the sample. This is the sample. It's in our public repo. We are going to share with you the links, I guess, over the chat. We are going to share the blog post with the link for the two samples, my sample, EK sample. But this is an end-to-end solution. I have this folder to deploy a gateway with a GitHub MCP, which will access a project in GitHub. I also have a fake project inside here with a lot of bugs. I have deployed it into my account private, otherwise your guys are going to start to create issues for me. So I just create a lot of issues here, so I can put my agents to, take a look or fix the issues. They are very simple, but I have this in the gateway, the sample, the deployment, and then I have the skill here to upload to SC3 file. And here I have all the coding agents, so you can deploy. We have the infrastructure, which will basically deploy VPC SC3 files. And then we have all the six. We have six. There are many more. We pick 6 code agents: Open Code, Kiro, Hermes, front end. Oh, front end is not. Cursor, Kiro, Codex, and I have this fancy front end, which is this one that you folks are seeing here. So with all set, let me get the issue.
So as we get started, Ivandro, just a question, right? So as we are showing the setup, so whenever we know that these are micro VMs are running in the cloud, are we saying that let's say the VM is shut down for whatever reason, right? Because we know that the VMs are available and running for X amount of time.
Yes.
By using the bring your own file system concept or being able to use S3, are we saying that the skills, the outputs can all be written to this external file system, and then you could always bring this back up when we start a new agent? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, perfect. We have 2 ways of doing that. We have the manage storage, right? Which will allocate, which is like the name, manage. So you just, when you create your runtime, you just add a new parameter with the mount point, let's say mnt slash my session data. This is session strict, so sessions cannot access other session data in the manage storage, and it can be running for 14 days. So you can persist, let's say, your information there, or you can persist in memory, another component of AgentCore, so you can have it for much more time. And we also have the SC3 option. So let's say you have an autonomous agent building a report for your team. So the agent can start it by, let's say, a cron, a step function, event bridge. Will invoke the agent. Agent will build asynchronous the report, and then will flush the report to a SC3 file, and then can notify you. We just go S3 or generate you assign a URL, and you just download the report from S3. So it's a very powerful capability that gives you a lot of exciting possibilities. So yeah, I take so long to answer, but the short answer is just yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, let me get back into my simple GitHub. EK will have a much more fun with his GitHub demo, with doing a lot of stuff in the software lifecycle. I'm not gonna give spoilers, EK. You will give your own spoilers after me. But I have a very simple bug here. I have this issue. Let's see the code, right? So let me just open the code here. It's on create task. So let me get my backend, my app.py. Let's get our create. I was fair. I gave a note that there is a bug here, but we need to, fix this. So let's get started. Instead of 1, let's play with 4 agents at the same time. I will pick Claude Code for the first one, Codex here. Let's put Kiro and Cursor or Open Code. Let's Open Code and see what happens. So let me connect in all of them.
So did you tell
Yes.
all of them to fix this bug, or are you just doing the connection first?
Yeah, I would just connect just to avoid all of them making PRs at the same time. I can also do that. Will be fun.
So I see that when the terminals were coming up, they were trying to connect to the MCP servers, right? So are we going to talk
Yes.
about that now, or?
Yeah, I have here the MCP gateway here already connected. So it is the permissions load the MCP also here. Let me, oh, sorry. Let me get back. Skip. Same here. I hope same here. Let's see if the MCP is available here. Yes, it's running. Here it's running. So I have in the 4 agents, the MCP running. I'm in the 4 of them into a terminal UI. Remember, you can do this asynchronous, like autonomous. I'm just doing like this to showcase the advantage for you. So I already have my prompt here, which is using your skill, read the issue 1 in the repo, think about a solution, but don't make a PR, showcase the problem, and also how long you take to write the code to fix it. Let me give all of them the same question, and let's see them work.
So as this is building the code or the planning process, right? Whatever is involved here, the MCPs that you connected, where are the MCPs? Are they local to the cloud environment? Are they remote?
They are
Can you speak
remote.
about-
We are hosting them in AgentCore Gateway.
So can we, Mark? Can we give some idea about how we are connecting those MCP servers via the gateway? Because that's maybe like a common theme that our developers or builders.
Yes. I can give briefly overview. I think EK also can give, but basically, I built a runtime with access to my GitHub private repo. I created, let's say, an API behind it. We can MCPify APIs with gateway. So I create a gateway with IAM permission, and then I give my runtimes IAM permission to invoke that gateway. So it's not an open gateway. By the way, if you want to create like an open MCP, you can, but I didn't. And I created this and I'm hosting this on AWS site. So, yep. So I already have a few answers here. I already have Claude answer. So Claude give me the proposed fix here. Very tough. Exactly in the block of the code, the problem, what's happening, how long it takes to fix. The others two are asking me for permissions to run. That's why taking a little bit more, but Kiro also give me the code, the solution here, and the estimates to fix. Also open code give me 30 seconds. He's promising me he's faster, but he's saying that, not me. Also, he give me the fix here in the code. And Codex is asking me for permissions to run. I forgot to allow all, but probably will give me soon he gave me also the around 5 minutes. There you go. We have here the proposed fix, and we have here the explanation. So I built this fancy. I can disconnect all of them at the same time. I can ask them to, fix and send the PR to fix my code. So this is what I want to show. Let me just get back to the GitHub and show to you, Anil, and to folks, like in this folder here, we have a subfolder gateway MCP with all explanation how you create your, GitHub access project, how to host your agent that will access that, and how to integrate with gateway and use IAM to control the access for this MCP. And then I expose this MCP for all agents so they can use this an MCP tool. And this is how you can integrate many, AgentCore pieces to build your solutions.
So at this point, I wonder, so let's say we walk away from the laptop and we close our lid or we close the browser window. What's going to happen, right? So you kicked off a task, the agent is running.
Yeah, exactly. AK is going to show right now. I'm not going to give you spoilers. I make this interactive so people can see how to have the same local experience, but running at AWS. But think about you can do everything that I just did automatically, like autonomous. You can trigger the code, Claude Code, the Codex, the Kiro execution, send inputs to the code harness to run stuff. The code agent can have permission to use MCPs to work. Let's say with your GitHub, with your local APIs, do stuff, and then you just see the responses. That's it. So let me handle to EK, so EK can showcase a very, very, very exciting demo on doing that.
Awesome. Yeah. So let me quickly start sharing my screen. All right. So yeah, before we get started, I would just like to point out, like almost a year ago when we were building AgentCore and we were releasing AgentCore features, this is the kind of automation that we had envisioned. And then it's really exciting to see all of it coming together. So this is the SDLC pipeline that we will be showing you today. Now, what's the idea behind this SDLC pipeline? Again, this is a GitHub repository. It's publicly available, but the idea is very simple. So you have your project managers, you have your developers, they interact with, they might create issues like on GitHub or Jira, any project management platform. Now, when they create an issue, they describe, hey, what the issue is, what this new feature might look like, and they just want to trigger a pipeline, trigger a SDLC pipeline. What that's going to do is using step functions and Lambda functions, and we'll see how all of that comes together. It's going to execute either Claude Code, Codex, Kiro, and all the different choices that you have inside AgentCore runtime. It will have access to your Git repository where all your code lives. And using that description of the issue, the new feature, it's going to build out and finally create a pull request. So that's the main idea here. So let's see how that looks like. So whenever I put a label on my GitHub, I'm going to execute using GitHub Actions. I'm going to execute the step function. This step function essentially has two Lambda functions. One is to set up the workplace, and second is to execute the AgentCore runtime. The setup workplace actually does quite a few things. The first thing it does is it git clones your GitHub repository. It has access to that GitHub repository because either Jira is connected through it or your GitHub project is connected through it. Now, once it git clones it into this mount workspace, this is actually the managed session storage that we have been talking about. So each issue that you trigger gets its own storage, gets its own clone, a local clone of the Git repository. The second thing it's going to do is from Amazon S3 files, which is shared across micro VMs, it's going to copy this plugin that I have created inside my workspace so that Claude, Codex, Kiro can effectively use it. Inside this plugins, I have quite a few things. First is a connection to the MCP server, which is AgentCore Gateway. I have hooks and skills, and I'll talk about that more. But before we get started, actually, sorry, folks, I'm actually working on quite a lot of things. So let me do this. I'm just going to start my pipeline. I'm sorry, I'm just crunched on time. So I'm just going to start my pipeline right here. I want this out before our session ends. What's that going to do is it's going to start this GitHub action. This action is essentially just invoking my step functions. Now let's go into my step function. These are my step functions. So it already has that, okay, this SDLC pipeline was just executed on my issue 94. That's perfect. Now the two Lambda functions, set up the task, set up the workspace. It's going to copy all the relevant things It's going to make sure the local branch is updated with the main branch as well, because I want to be working on the latest changes when I actually open this. Then it's going to execute the Claude Code. It's going to give issues along with all the comments, along with any other information that I have, and it's going to execute Claude Code and it's going to run. So the pipeline is running, and we'll see how that works. Okay, so let's go back here. Now I want to talk about everything on the right. So here I have .mcp JSON, which I, again, copy into my workspace. Inside this MCP JSON, I'm connecting to this AgentCore gateway. Now, this AgentCore gateway has quite a lot of things attached to it. First, there are the developer MCP servers, I like to call them.
Mm-hmm.
These are essentially MCP servers that give Claude Code access to your internal documentation. The good part is it's all within your VPC, so it can be private. In this scenario, I'm actually using AWS documentation MCP server and AWS CloudFormation and API MCP server to get the most up-to-date information about these things. You can also attach Context 7 MCP server, all behind a single gateway. So in this .mcp JSON file, I actually have one MCP server, which gives it access to all these developer MCP servers. Now I have two other MCP servers. First is the project management platform, so that during this exploration, implementation, critique stage that the SDLC pipeline goes through, it's actually able to comment back into my issue. It's going to give me, hey, this is the things I explored. This is a bit ambiguous. And sometimes they give me like a very opinionated answer that this is actually not a good feature to add, because it's going to break a few other things. And the source control is when I'm happy, when it's happy that, hey, these things are good to go, I'm going to push changes into my branch that I create and run the CIs, make sure those CIs are correct, so there are no errors, no testing errors, etc. So that's everything on the right. One thing that I missed was AgentCore policy, and let me tell you, this was a game changer. The main issue with this SDLC pipeline when I was building it was actually pushing to my main branch, which I don't want. Now, from a good developer practice perspective, I can just disable that on GitHub. That's a no-brainer. But then you're at the mercy of your developer who's actually maintaining the GitHub repository to enable this feature. So what I did was I added a policy to my gateway and said, do not allow any pushes to the main branch. That's it. And now when my Claude Code or anyone inside this runtime using the MCP server tries to push code, it automatically gets blocked. It never goes to my source control or project management MCP server, which is great. All right, so this was everything about the gateway side of things. Now let's come back to the left. We had a developer started. Now, like, you can do this like on GitHub Actions, you can run this. What is the main advantage here? It's the interactive terminal session, in my opinion. So I have this SDLC inspector. It's a local host UI element that I've added, and you can go and see here. So I can already see that on my 94th issue, my Claude Code has already started. Let's go and see my step functions. Okay, it's already running. Now what I can do is I can say check Claude Code. So this check Claude Code actually sent a shell command. So it was just one shell command that Evandro showcased, and it's actually reporting back that, okay, it's running with PID 106. So it's doing something in the background, and let me tell you, it's getting all the issue elements, exploring the code stage, and then it will create a PR. I can also check the runtime lifecycle. So my runtime has been up for 4 minutes, 29 seconds. And the main advantage, again, is stop session. Let's say this agent has been running for 30 minutes. I don't have a PR. I can see that it's going in the wrong direction. I can just say stop session, and my Claude Code would just stop there, and I can use my TUI commands to go into it and stir it in the right direction. So actually, let's go ahead and do that. But well, let me try it for something else. I don't want to mess this one up. So let's try this one. So I can just copy this TUI command. And again, as Evandro mentioned, you need to have AgentCore CLI. You need to have proper permissions because, well, it's least privilege. So you make sure you have proper permissions. So TUI command, copied. I'm going to go here.
And just adding EK, if you go to your runtime console, you also have the TUI option, like the shell option inside it. Inside the console, you can specify your session there and just get access into your AWS console.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, and also I think this also explain all your questions on Gateway, right? I know this is very cool. The policy is amazing, right?
Exactly, right. So, and I see that here in the line it says dash dash session ID, right? So you're
Mhm.
passing the TY command is generating the session ID. So what's the significance of that, EK?
Right. So it's actually not generating the session ID. There are two session IDs that I want to point out. The first is a session ID that my SDLC pipeline was started on. So this is what attaches me to that micro VM, to that managed session storage. So it cannot bleed into another micro VM or its session storage. So that's the agent core session ID. Then inside the agent core, when Claude Code start, it has its own session ID, which is going to be this one. So I can go in right now and you'll see, and I can just continue where the SDLC pipeline, SDLC pipeline stopped. So yeah, so let's go ahead and do that. First, I'm going to go into it, connecting to agent VM. All right. The good part is my setup Lambda function already worked on it, so I have everything already set up. So let me do ls. Let's do cd mount, which is going to be my mount, where I mount my different paths. The first is the workplace, which is going to be isolated per VM, per issue, and the plugins where I distribute my plugins. So let's go into workspace. And here inside Git project, so that's my Git project. But before that, let me also show you the Claude data. So that's where my Claude session lives. A Claude session, which is inside this micro VM. So let me go again, projects, and this particular project. And you can see here, I already have a few files. And if I go back, BC12551, I think it's this one. All right. So what I'm going to do is quickly cat. There you go. So this is what my SDLC pipeline did. Like you can see all the logs, whatever it did inside my code. But the good part is, and let me set this up too. I'm going to go inside my Git project. Again, my entire GitHub project is inside it. So now let me quickly export a few things. And this is going to let my Claude know that, hey, I'm going to be using Bedrock. This is your config, etc., all the good stuff. And I'm going to do Claude resume. And where is my...
It's in the TUI console as well, right?
Yeah, true. But I want to copy this one. Let's get this one. There you go. Let me go back. Resume. And yeah, so this is the entire SDLC. Like this, you'll see there's no human interaction here. This is the entire SDLC pipeline. There are skills running, there's sub agents running, and I have access to it, and I can just ask it to make a few changes and make a new PR if I want to. But yeah, so this was the TOI side of things that I quickly wanted to showcase. Now let me go back to all the list of issues that I have, and let me tell you, I've actually, since I've made this public, I'm essentially just this project manager writing all of these awesome issues, and this SDLC pipeline is essentially building itself. It was funny enough. One of my mentors mentioned that almost 20 years ago, Git. There was the first day when Git tracked itself, and now we have a SDLC coding agent pipeline, which is now building itself, which is pretty cool. But I wanted to show you a few things which essentially show that, okay, it's able to comment back. So this was actually a feature that I'll make sure it goes out today. This was something I was working on, which is observability, end-to-end observability for my all AgentCore components. I described, hey, these are the things I want to enable vended logs. And well, I knew how to do it, but I did not give it any hints. I just gave it the MCP server, the AWS docs, and I wanted it to figure it out on its own. So I just did agent start, and you can see it's yesterday. It explored. First, the agent removed my tag and said explore. It went to the explore stage. The explore stage, you have all the exploration, like what all it explored inside the coding project, and I can see this, which is good. Then it actually came back with a few clarifying questions, like, hey, you never told me what the retention day should be. I can see that runtime has this ARN, gateway has a different ID. Is that what you mean? And I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what I mean. And it actually told me this by first commenting on it, and then it was like agent needs clarification. So I can see that it needs my clarification now. I provided all the clarification things. I put the agent start again, and this was actually after almost 8 hours. So microVM has already died down, but because of my session storage, it picked up from where it left off. I just did agent start. It explored, implemented, it critiqued its own work. So it critiqued that, hey, looks good to me. It actually sometimes critiques it very harshly, like, hey, you don't have these things mentioned. And this critique is a haiku agent that I'm running inside this Claude Code. And it provides that, hey, make sure the npm pass, make sure the synth passes, etc. And finally, it actually created the PR, and its PR completed. And let me tell you, it actually did an amazing job. It's pretty much good to go without my intervention. I can confidently go here and merge the PR, and you can already see all the CIs already succeeding. All right, so that was great. Now let me go back here quickly. One thing that I want to mention, how do I orchestrate this explore, implement, critique loop is using my skills and my agents. It's essentially part of my plugin. So let me go to my terminal UI. First, I'm going to show you plugins. So you can use the plugins which are available throughout the industry, or you can use your own plugins. And you can see this is my gateway MCP server. I also have my own plugins attached here. Let me go one level back, and if I go /MCP, and yeah, you can see all of my MCP servers, 47 tools attached to it, which is great. Now it has access to all the things that it would need me to do. Context, I just want to look at what context it has. I like to do this frequently just to make sure I'm doing proper context management. So you can see it actually used, what would you say, 10% of its context window to implement this feature, and rest everything is just like skills, memory files, etc. Okay, so we talked about all these great things. Well, I tell all of my customers, if you don't have observability from day one on your coding agents, you're already going towards a future where you don't know what your agents are doing. They might be executing one thing or the other. Well, it's a total mess. So AgentCore observability is an essential component here. All the OTel that my Claude Code exports, I put them in my AgentCore observability dashboard. And let's go and see how that looks like. So I'm going to open one of the traces. So you can go and see, okay, what tools were executed. What were the LLM requests like? And you can see read write. This is actually because it's doing a lot of caching. So it's using some prompt caching on Bedrock models to optimize all of this, which is great. So everything looks good here. I can see what tools were invoked. And funny enough, what I noticed in one of the previous observability traces that I had, my agent was actually trying to make edits to my S3 files, which was shared. And I don't want that, because I don't want it to update its own skills or hooks or MCP JSON, because it's going to break things across. So what I did was I added a hook. And in that hook, I was able to say that if the path is mount plugin, deny any other, like deny both read and write, because I'm going to copy this instead into your workspace, which is going to be your private workspace. So it's only because of that observability in place, I was able to identify that it's actually writing things into this plugin, which is shared. And you saw Evandro's demo. As soon as you commit something, it just shows up across your platform. So adding hooks was a game changer there in that particular scenario. All right, so I know we're almost time, but let's go back and see what my issue has done. Oh, okay, it's PR completed. Okay, so it was actually a very easy PR. It made sure, so as a good program manager that I am, I was like, hey, these are the acceptance criteria, but you can add your own use cases here based on different stakeholders, different personas. And it's like, hey, I made sure all of these are correct. The PR is ready for you to go. And well, I can confidently say here, it actually has it can read the CI scans as well. So it has all of that access as well. So I can just simply go and confirm squash merge. Right? That's perfect. Everything works. And this is the SDLC pipeline demo.
Amazing, Ishan. So what you just showed us is that, again, everything is running autonomously in the cloud using S3 files, right? So being able to store your sessions outside of your workspace, even the workspace is remote, being able to invoke any coding agent, I would say, bring your own models, tag them, right? So can you also explain why you chose to the step functions and lambda functions, right? So why did you use that?
Oh, essentially, I see a future of this demo where I can essentially I'm able to check Claude right now, and it's not running correctly because we just saw that the SDLC pipeline complete, so Claude is not running. So Lambda has like a timeout of 15 minutes, but this SDLC pipeline takes more time than that to complete. So I see a future where I can use step function to continuously execute this command, and the steps function only succeeds when my Claude code has succeeded. So essentially, we'll see more steps here, like a if-else statement with a wait loop, essentially just executing, is it completed? No. Okay, sleep for 15 seconds. And this step function only completes when my Claude has done the work. So that was my only reason of using step functions along with lambdas. But if you're confident that you don't need this particular feature, only lambda functions work. Like you just set up your workspace, execute the pipeline, and forget about it.
Well, folks, you saw an end-to-end demo of how EK was able to tag a particular issue on GitHub, and the whole pipeline executed end-to-end.
Amazing stuff. Any last words on how folks can best get started? So I think we showed the blog post. We've got a couple of different repos you can build, you can try out on your own. Any other thoughts on folks getting into this?
Yeah, I mean, so this particular sample, it's ready for you to use. You can go and see what different plugins I have. I have Kiro Codex as well. I'm slowly going to add Asana and Jira so that you can manage your issues there instead of GitHub, if that's your preference. For source control, we're using GitHub, but it can be GitLab. It can be on your internal running versions of GitLab, because in AWS we have that. So we want to make sure everything is inside the VPC. That's perfect. If it ever needs to traverse the public internet, just add firewalls on your NAT gateways and just say that, hey, don't access GitHub. Don't access these all of these websites which are not allowed. But like if you go through this end to end, you will have this SDLC pipeline running in no more than 20 minutes on any GitHub repository today. So yeah, I think that's the easiest way to get started.
At that point, all you need is tokens, right? So
all you need is tokens. Yes.
So folks, I guess you've seen an amazing demo today, right? So do come back to this series again for next week's live stream on another topic. But thanks, team, for joining us and sharing how we can build and run the AI SDLC in AgentCore. Right? It was a great demo. Thanks for sharing, with our viewers here today. Mark, EK, and Ivandro, thanks for joining us. And to all our viewers, come back again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye.